Hey y'all, it's Brijin, the Museum Stitcher. Welcome back to my channel. This is my little corner of the internet where I talk about my crafting life, mostly about cross stitch. Today we're going to talk mostly cross stitch with maybe a little bit of quilting. So if you're someone who enjoys reading, knitting, quilting, cross stitch, crafty things in general, I hope that you stick around and that you like what you see and you leave me a comment, tell me hi. And if you're returning, welcome back. It's been about 3 weeks since I last filmed, according to my new filming schedule, which is working because I've got some cool tutorials coming for you guys later, so we'll be plugging those into the off weeks. So don't you worry, you'll still get content from me regularly. But it's been a pretty eventful 3 weeks. I talked to you last right before I went to St. Louis to visit some friends, and I visited the Color and Cotton store, so we're going to talk about what I got while I was there. I stayed with my no new starts, so look at me. But I did do a restart of something for the Restartathon last month, and I did start something yesterday on September 1st, so we're gonna talk about that. So yeah, today is Saturday, September 2nd. It's in the morning. I have my toasted marshmallow latte that I just made. So I hope you have a good beverage and that you're ready to talk crafting things and look at the pretty things. We're also going to talk plans for Sampler September today, which is fun. So I hope that you like what you see and that you stick around and that you don't mind occasional meows from cats that are off screen. So let's get into it today, shall we? So I don't have any finishes that I completed in the last 3 weeks. Honestly, my stitchy bug kind of disappeared for 2 of those 3 weeks, which is a rough time when you run a Flosstube channel because you have to work on things to have content to show in your videos, and unfortunately that didn't happen. However, I do have a couple previous finished features. I have mentioned before that I want to get better about showing those, and so I put them all on my calendar and we had some previous finishes roll around. Okay, so the first previous finish that I completed last summer around this time was this one. This is Bushel A Peck by La Di Da. I stitched this with mostly the called for DMC. I think I swapped out the gold and the red. Otherwise, I think it's called for. And I stitched this for my mom. I love this finish. This is also on 40 count mallow linen by Zweigart. Oh, so good. So yeah, I finished this last summer, got it framed, and it sits on my mom's mantle, but oh, I love it. This is such a sweet piece. So that's previous finish number 1, and previous finish number 2 is this one. This is All These Books by Forbidden Fiber Company. I got this as a kit last year, and I know I worked on this while I was in Arizona. I took this on a plane with me because I have this on 18 count parchment Aida that came in the kit, but I did do a Roxy Floss co-conversion and stitched it 2/1, I think. Yeah, 2 strands? Yeah, that's 2 strands. And then I have it backed with some Lady Dot chenille, trim, and velveteen. I think in the color Berry Crush, from memory, could be wrong. But I have shared details about this in previous videos, so I won't go super in depth, but it is fun to look back on what you finished this time last year. Yeah, I do love this piece so much. Look at that book stack. Tell me that's the most adorable thing that you've ever seen. So we'll put those there for everyone to look at while I talk. And yeah, that's it for finishes this time around. I do have a couple things that are just about ready to FFO. So I know a lot of you guys ask for framing tutorials from me, so I am working on that for you guys. So if you're interested in seeing how I frame things, sit tight. That video will be coming in the next month or so. I have about 3 tutorial style videos that I'm planning right now, and I'm gonna release them in between floss tubes so I don't just release all the content at once. So keep an eye out, it will be coming. Okay, so let's talk new starts and restarts. So in the month of August, like I said, I did no new starts and I did it. This is the first time I've ever said I was going to do no new starts and I stuck with it. So go me. But I figured a restart wouldn't quite count And you guys know I've been obsessed with the Vanity sampler from Liz Mathews since it came out at Market back in March. And I just needed it. I needed to have it. I needed it. And my friend Cam the Stitcher, did an absolutely stunning DMC conversion to these like gothic pink colors. So it's like dark but pink. I love it. I love it so much. This is the mock-up of what Cam's conversion will look like. She is very open about giving that out. If you go reach out to her channel, I will have her linked down below, as I always do. And yeah, I started it back in May. And unfortunately, the fabric that I started it on, while it is a perfect fabric, was just a little too light and some of the colors weren't showing up great. I'll see if I have a screenshot of what it looked like. I was just having a hard time getting things to show up the way I wanted them to. So I decided to scrap it and restart it. And then I got distracted by other projects and I haven't returned to it. So I finally got around to restarting it. 3 Cat Stitching on Instagram started the hashtag Restartathon 2023 in August, where you restart projects that you've been meaning to restart. And this was the one that I picked for that. So I need to get this photographed so that I can show it on Instagram. But this is what it looks like so far. So I'm stitching mine now. It used to be on Flannel Flower. Now it is on 40 Count Spilled Coffee by XJuDesigns. And it's gonna stay in the Q-snap because I have it positioned perfectly, but you get a really good sense of what the fabric looks like. Isn't that modeling the most gorgeous modeling you've ever seen? Oh, XJuDesigns fabric is so, so good. And let me show you Cam's DMC. I have on some floss straps that I got from Fangirl Fibers. So these are the colors. Like, tell me that's not stunning. Oh, I love it. I love it so, so much. These are beautiful. So I worked on this for probably about 3 days. Like I said, I lost my stitchy bug, so I didn't do a whole lot of stitching over the last 3 weeks, but this is what I got done. I got 788 stitches done out of the total 22,405 stitches. So it's sitting at about 3.5% finished. And that's what I've done. So I did this little crown. This is a center start. So started with the crown, and then I did this whole vine and all of the little strawberries. And then I started on the moth that sits right here. This needle minder came from Abby the Top Knot Stitcher, which is so much fun. And I made this grime guard myself. Oh, it's so cool. And it's one of those things where as you're working on it, you're like, I don't know if these colors are gonna come together. This is stepping out for me. It's like, it's more vibrant than I would normally go, but I love it. And it's so cool doing a conversion like this because you don't know what the finished piece is gonna look like in person. Like, yeah, we have the digital mock-up, but you know, pieces in person look so different than digital mock-ups do. And I'm so excited and I love how it's coming out. So my goal for this one is to divide it up into 12 sections and work on it every month in the year 2024 and have it finished by December 2024, because this is a chunky girl. There are quite a few stitches in this one, but I think I did the math, and if I get another 1,000 stitches done on this before the end of 2023, I'll only have to do about 1,600 stitches every month. So that's not bad at all. Not when Greenhouse of Oddities was 1,000 stitches a week. So yeah, that's the Vanity sampler. That is the conversion. Again, go check out Cam's channel if you want to hear more about this conversion. It's a perfect conversion. It's great. I love it so much. Okay, and then the only other new start that I started yesterday, September 1st. I've been talking about the stitch along for a while, so you're probably familiar with it, but if you're not, my friend Lauren, New Hampshire Stitcher here on YouTube, also will have her linked down below, started the hashtag BAP to School Sal. BAP stands for Big Ass Project. And so basically you just pick a project that's big for you and you work on it. And the pun is great. It's such a cool idea for a SAL. Everyone gets to work on something different, and it's fun seeing what everyone's choices of like a big project are. But I have had this project kitted for a while. Ever since I saw the model in Arizona last summer, I've wanted it. And so I am working on In the Butterfly's Garden by 1897 Schoolhouse Samplers. Oh, it's stunning. Okay, so if you follow me on Instagram, I actually put up a post that was a poll for my fabric options for this one because I was stuck between two. This project has a pretty good chunk of rainbow flavored flosses, and this is what they look like, plus $8.29. This is the one I was working with. So I have this in a mini keeper that I got from Carrie of Tiger Lily Designs, and I have these on my Adam Hart floss bobbins, as always, which are floss drops. They look like this. If you are new to my channel, I talk about these incessantly, and they're just so good. So they're floss drops that you wind up like bobbins and can put in pockets like this, which is perfect for a longer term project. But this color combo is amazing. And the DMC is just what's called for with this chart, which is really nice. No fancy floss is called for. But I couldn't decide if I wanted to do it on Flannel Flower by Fox and Rabbit, which has some modeling, or this limited edition Color and Cotton that I got when I was at the Color and Cotton store in St. Louis. But ultimately, I put up a poll on YouTube and on Instagram. YouTube Flannel Flower won, and on Instagram the Color and Cotton one, which is no help to me because I was still at an impasse. So ultimately, I was thinking about what I loved about this model. What I loved about it in person was how clean and fresh it looks. So I did decide to go with the Color and Cotton. So I guess the Instagram won out, but this is what I got done. I only worked on this for one night, literally just Friday night from about 7 p.m. until 11 p.m. And this is what it looks like. So this is sitting at 481 stitches done out of 16,338. So it's about 3% finished, which honestly, this piece has so much like open space that while it is a pretty big stitch count because it's 260 by 322, it actually has a whole lot less stitches than a whole bunch of other charts that I have going right now. So it's a BAP, but it's not necessarily the biggest BAP I could have picked. But you know what? It's still a piece that I've wanted to work on for a long time. So you can see my fabric chunk is pretty big. This is 36 count, like I said. And the reason that I'm doing a BAP on a 36 count is because I did the math, and actually on a 36 count, this will fit in a 16 by 20 standard frame. And if I can save framing money in the long run, I will do that. So that's what my BAP to school SAL is. That's what it's looking like so far. This one is so much fun to work on. It's really easy stitching. Normally I wouldn't be able to get 500 stitches done in like a 4-hour stitching period. But once you get the pattern repeat for the border, you're just stitching. You don't have to keep referencing your pattern, so it's really easy. I'm stitching one strand over 2 threads of linen, which gives it more of like an antique-y look. I prefer one-stranded stitching on 36, just personally. I think it looks great. I love the color of this fabric. Again, it's limited edition, but it is just like a good creamy color. I don't think you'd have a hard time finding that anywhere. But I cannot wait to actually start the lettering. I love lettering. And yeah, so that's my BAP to school SAL. I'm gonna heavily focus on this, I think at least 2 days a week for the month of September. I just wanna see how far I can get into it. And based on how stitching last night went, this is an addictive stitch. So I know I'm gonna work on it today, and I will probably work on it again tomorrow, and then I might put it down for a few days. But I have this in a project bag that I made myself. This is some patchwork, and I have a good foam interfacing in there. I love this project bag. But yep, that is my back to school SAL, and that is everything I started. So like I said, I actually made it through the month of August with no new starts, which is so exciting, and I am really proud of myself. That being said, I have a lot of starts planned for September. So once we get through, I've got 2 whips that I worked on, and then we'll talk 3 whips, and then we'll talk plans. I have planned starts pulled out that I can show you. I've got a little bit of haul, and that's how the rest of this video is gonna go. Okay, so as far as whips go, I lost my stitchy bug probably for about 7 days, and unfortunately I lost it right after working on this, which is not this project's fault. I love this project. This is the Garden Sampler by Carriage House Samplings. This project I didn't have a great start on, and I wanted to work on it, you know, just because it's the summertime, and I think this is gonna have to go away for the fall season because it's not very fall stitching oriented. And so I wanted to get a little bit more progress, so I felt like I was putting it away with a chunk done. So this is a picture of what it looked like the last time I showed it to you. I think I only had about 200 stitches finished on this one. Not much at all, but I worked on this for a good chunk of time. I think I worked on this for 2 days. But this is on a 20 count Peridot Ada by Fiber on a Whim, which is this gorgeous minty green color. It's probably a little bit more vibrant than it's picking up on camera. But I love the way that Stephanie Webb of Lindy Stitches, she did hers on a minty colored fabric as well, and I thought it looked so beautiful. So that's who I copied on this one. But this is now sitting at about 13.5% finished. I got about 1,500 stitches out of 11,500. So I went through, I know I finished the grasshopper and the leaf he's sitting on. I did the whole fern and the whole eggplant. But this is just a nice, like, easy stitch to do because it's on Ada, so I don't have to think about counting too hard. It's easy to just finish like a letter and its motif in a stitchy session. I love it. And I am stitching this with the Leo and Roxy, or Roxy Floss Coat conversion that my friend Lauren, New Hampshire Stitcher, requested. So I went on and bought that too because I figure at the end of this project, I'm gonna have a great stash of Roxy Floss to pull from for future endeavors, which is so exciting. So I love it. I love these flosses so much, and thanks to Lauren for convincing me to start this project. I just love it. Look at that. It's so cute. So this one's probably going away for the season. I'll probably pull this out next spring. But that's the thing about being a seasonal stitcher or a mood stitcher, is sometimes, you know, you only work on projects for 3 months out of the year. So it is what it is. And then I decided to pull out an older whip that hasn't gotten any base time in over a year. And that is the Bookcase by Galliana Cross Stitch. I love this stitch so much, but I haven't worked on it in forever. And I was in the mood for some monochromatic, easy stitching, and that's what this is for me right now. So I will put a picture of what this looked like in my last video where you saw it, which I think was my whip parade. But I am stitching mine on a 36 count Highland linen by Picture This Plus, and I'm doing the bookcase in one color, and then I am gonna fill in all of the books and knickknacks on the shelves with different colors. I have those colors picked out yet, but I pulled them out of the bag because it's gonna be a while. This project is probably the biggest non-full coverage project that I have going right now. Stitch count wise, not necessarily, but it's pretty dense. It's got about 31,000 stitches completely. And I did probably about 700 stitches on this, not a whole lot, but just a couple days worth. It's now sitting at 8.8% complete. So I went through and I finished the last little bit of this page on the top of it, and then I started on this middle section. So the floss that I'm using for the actual bookcase itself is Color and Cotton Black Walnut, which is this gorgeous chocolatey brown color, and it looks great on this green linen. But yeah, so like I said, not a crazy amount of stitching, but This one is just so easy. This is the only 36 count project I have going where I am stitching it with 2 strands instead of 1. I wish I was doing 1, but I will say it is nice to be able to loop start. For me, 36 gets a little bulky with 2 strands. It's just not my preference. But I had too much done on this to go back, so it's just what we're doing. And I do like the way it looks. I love how bold it's coming out. I love this linen. I think it's really pretty. And the colors that I have for the knickknacks are like pale pink, teal, yellow. It's gonna be very like pastel Southwestern. But yeah, absolutely stunning. I love it so much. So it didn't work on this too terribly much, but progress is progress. You know what I mean? Okay, speaking of progress is progress, I did put in about an hour's worth of work on my Millhouse by Kathy Barrick, otherwise known as my Lallybrock sampler. I'm doing a bit of a conversion on this. I'm just changing some of the elements to be a little bit more Scottish. This is my Outlander stitch, so I work on this while I watch Outlander. But unfortunately, the last episode of Outlander that I watched was the mid-season finale for the newest season, and I was paying attention more than I was stitching, so I only did 135 stitches on this since you've seen it last. But this is what it's looking like. I know, it is so pitiful. I just did these 3 berries and the tops of the next 3. That's it. Otherwise, it looks exactly the same. This is on 40 count, not another sampler, Verdal by BeStitchMe with the called for DMC. It's not exciting, but it was some stitching that I did. So yeah, that's my Outlander piece. I love it though. This little owl, his name is Herb. He's adorable. If you are looking for more details on like my plans for this piece, go check out my last Flosstube. I'll link it in the cards. But I talk more in depth about the plan changes and the inspiration that made me think this piece was an Outlander piece. And I have this in my Forbidden Fiber Company Outlander bag that has the Skyboat song on it. And that is all of the projects that I actually put stitches on. So if you are interested in hearing about Sampler September plans or seeing my haul, like the little few purchases that I've made, stick around, and we will get into that in just a second. Okay, so Sampler September is in full swing now. So I'm gonna spend this week focusing on my back to school sale, along with probably one other whip that I choose. I don't know which one that's gonna be just yet. But I've basically slotted a new start into every weekend of this month. So I thought I'd go over them with you in case you wanted to join in. Some of them are sales, some of them are just projects I've wanted to start. Actually, no, I think all of them are sales. Whoops. Anyway, first up, the weekend of the 9th, I'm gonna be starting Pink Sparrow Sampler by Brenda Gervais with Caitlin of Cross Stitch Kate and Lindsay of Cat Fur and Cross Stitch. Both of those ladies are amazing. I love their channels, and Caitlin had the great idea to all start Pink Sparrow Sampler because I think we all talked about it in our kit parades that we all released recently. So what other time than Sampler September, you know what I mean? So the fabric that I pulled for this one is a 36 count Winter Moon linen by Zweigart, just something easy. Yeah. And here are the flosses. I am stitching with mostly the called for, but there were a few I couldn't get my hands on and one that I didn't love in person. So Jack Frost, this like light blue, is called for to be Lexington green. And I liked this more. I wanted it to be more blue because I feel like matching the cover image was a little bit more important for me with this one. I also swapped out Barn Red for Old Brick because I couldn't get Old Brick. I swapped out Baby Carrots for Burnt Orange, and I swapped out Patchwork for Grape Arbor. So this is what my floss ring looks like. Only 4 substitutions, everything else is called for. It is going to be gorgeous. And I love the way they look. I was talking I asked Cam what she thought of my color conversion because she's the queen of conversions in my head and I needed her opinion. And she said that this fabric makes, or these flosses make this fabric look like butter. So this is now my butter sampler. But what better time than Sampler September to start this one? And I have loved it ever since I saw Lauren, New Hampshire Stitcher, working on it. I mean, it's colorful, but it's antiqued, and I think it's a gorgeous project. So I've got that one lined up. I think we're doing the hashtag Pink Sparrow sampler, Sal. Something easy. I know there's already posts for it, but yeah, so keep an eye out for that one. This next one that I'm starting is one that I've wanted to start for forever with my friend Megan, the Seattle Stitcher. This is Practical Magic by the Primitive Hair, which is such a fun one. This came out at Expo last year, back in August, and I bought it, and Megan sent me the called for Primitive Hair linen, which is a 30 count, and which is so kind of her because she's just an amazing human. And then I have the pin set, and I finally got all of the flosses floss dropped up. So it's just a few DMC and then 2 fancy flosses. Gorgeous. Love that. So we're going to be starting this one together on the 16th, I think. All of these will be Saturday starts, I think. So whatever the Saturday is, that's when I'm starting this. But Practical Magic is up next, which of course means I'm going to have a Practical Magic movie day because why not? This next one I kitted up. I don't know I'm going to start it this month, but I figure it was worth a mention. This is Betsy's Autumn Basket by Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. I'll just insert a picture because I think it's a higher quality image that way. But I've had this for forever and I loved it last year and I just wanted to start it and I never did. So I finally got around to kitting it up. So I have all the called for flosses, which are these just gorgeous autumnal colors. So pretty. So I have that ready to go, and I have some 36 count dirty porcelain linen from Roxy Flossco with it that I think will be really pretty. So this one's a smaller stitch. Honestly, I think it looks bigger than it actually is. It's only about 4,500 stitches, which, like I said, you know, Vanity sampler is 22,000, so this one is much smaller. Cannot wait to start that. I don't know if it's going to be September or October though. And then the final project that I have kitted up, I'm just waiting on the chart, is the Pumpkin House by Hello from Liz Mathews. This piece is stunning. It's got 2 different fabrics. It's beautiful, it's autumnal, it's not huge actually, which is so nice. And the minute I saw it teased in Liz's Instagram stories, I knew I had to have it. And so when it released, I pre-ordered it. And yeah, and then Carrie of Tiger Lily Designs, who is one of the best humans ever, did a color conversion with Forbidden Fiber Co flosses. And of course I had to snap that up. So that came in this week. Look how stunning those are. Tell me those are not just beautiful. So I got the flosses all ready to go. And then for fabric, I am a little neurotic, so I decided to make sure that both of my fabrics came from the same dyer because I wanted the weaves to be the same. So I decided to go with Fiber on a Whim because I was talking to Cam and she had Topaz pulled. And I thought that is perfect because finding 36 count Haunted by Picture This Plus is impossible. So I got Topaz by Fiber on a Whim, which is a gorgeous dark blue. And for my neutral fabric at the bottom, I'm using Cream and Sugar. I think Cam is using Topaz and Milk and Honey, which is just a bit more warm and a little darker than Cream and Sugar. But those are my 2 fabrics and these are the flosses. And I can't wait to get started on that as soon as my chart comes in. So I have to work this into the schedule. I don't know where it's going to go yet, but I can't not start this immediately. And you guys know I need to start it bad if I'm not waiting for the PDF. Okay, and while we're on the subject, I only bought 2 charts at Market this year, which is crazy. So I purchased Pumpkin House, and the other chart that I bought was from Quaint Rose Needle Arts. This is Margaret Hull, 1872, I think. This is the picture. That little delicate bird just like unlocked something in my soul, and I knew I needed it. So I bought that, and that's all I bought at Market this year, which is nuts. I really felt like I should have bought more. And then my final plan is I'm starting Ophelia by Mirabilia with Alexis of Alexis_My Amazing World on the autumn equinox, which I think is the 25th. I could be wrong. It's whatever Saturday it starts with the 2 this month. So those are all of my plans. So let me know if you have any of those, if you want to start them with me. I will probably publish a picture of like my planned starts calendar on Instagram. So make sure you're following me over there. If you're not, I do post more like updates in between videos over there. Okay, so as far as like regular haul is concerned, when I got my Forbidden Fiber Co. flosses for Pumpkin House, I didn't want them to ship alone. So I also got a fat quarter of fabric because I love her linen. This is Spellbound. It's a 1/4 yard of 36. And it's just like a gorgeous, like neutral color. I don't know, I figured it would be perfect. Actually, Pink Sparrow might look really pretty on this. We'll see. Just a little bit of like golden modeling. It's a gorgeous color. And so that was my Flosses Can't Ship Alone purchase. And then I got my linen from BeStitchMe, the Fabric of the Month Club in. I am part of the 40 count fabric club. And the color this month is Lunar, which is a gorgeous gray. I have a feeling there's gonna be some really pretty Christmas samplers that look gorgeous on this. It's got a little bit of a green model to it, but not like not overwhelmingly green. It's gorgeous. I love it so much. So that's that. And then I purchased 2 charts from Brenda Gervais when I purchased my Pink Sparrow sampler because I didn't want that. Just to buy 1 chart for shipping isn't worth it for me, so I bought a couple. So this one, I think Microbiologist Makes just recently finished this. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But I saw it when I was scrolling one night, and then I saw it again on her channel, and I had to have it. So this is Where the Bittersweet Blooms. It is the smallest little autumn small. So if amidst all of these bigger samplers that I'm starting, if I feel like it, I might toss this in. I figured this would be an easy stash thing to kit up. It's only 74 by 97, so it's small, but it's so cute. I just had to have it. So I bought that one. And the other sampler is also a Flosstube influenced purchase. But this I saw on Katie of So Tattered. I saw this on her channel and I loved it. This is Frances Poole, another Brenda Gervais. Oh, now this is pretty, but when you see Katie, her actual piece, the colors are so much more vibrant. It's just gorgeous. But I love it. I love this piece. I loved seeing Katie's stitch of it, and I don't know, this reads kind of summer to me, so this might be a start next summer. I think it's just because it's red and blues, but so pretty. So I did buy those 2 charts from Brenda Gervais when I bought Pink Sparrow, and then I went to the Color and Cotton store. Now, I want to say thank you to these sweet ladies in that store. One of them recognized me when I walked in, which was my first time ever getting recognized in public, which was insane. I had my 2 best friends from grad school. My friend from grad school lives there, and so we went to visit her because we haven't seen each other since January, and it was just a good like girls trip where we just hung out. And I was like, you guys, I really want to go to this cross stitch store. I know neither one of you craft, but would you go with me? And so they went with me. It was their first time going to a cross stitch store. And then I got recognized in front of them, which like they were dying. Anyway, it was funny. And basically I walked into that store and I blacked out because the thread wall of Color and Cotton floss was so intensely beautiful that I forgot all of the plans that I had to purchase, and I just grabbed colors and bought them. And I can't explain it. I did get a 1/2 yard of that 36 count linen in the Butterfly's Garden because I saw it and I knew it was perfect. But other than that, I had no rhyme or reason for what I was grabbing. I grabbed a skein of Saloon, which is this gorgeous brown to gray variegated, and I am going to stick this in my Jack's Bash by Plum Street. I think this is a great substitute for Gentle Arts Walnut. it's just so unique. So that worked out, but it's such a unique floss color that I had to have it. Then I got another piece of fabric. This is an 1/8 of a yard of 40 count. It's this most peculiar shade of grayish, like gray beige with a purple undertone. I can't explain this fabric, but it's beautiful. So 40 count, 1/8 of a yard of that. And then I got a chart because you have to buy a chart when you're out. And this is Feast of Friendship by Blackbird. I recently saw Carrie of Tiger Lily working on this, and I've had my eye on it for forever. I think it's beautiful. So pretty. Like that blue house. Oh, just delicious colors. So had to grab that while I was there and when I saw it. And then as far as the other flosses, I don't know what I was thinking. So I got this skein of velveteen, which is beautiful. I got 2 skeins of apple picking, which I already have because I got this in a thread of the month, but I don't have enough of it to do like a monochromatic piece with. So now I have 3 whole skeins, which should be enough to do a small monochromatic. So I have that. Then I picked up this color, which is beautiful, and I got 3 skeins of it as well. Oh no, I got 3. Okay, sorry. Doing math. Again, like I said, I blacked out. I don't know what I bought, why I bought it. This is Lava Stone. It's like a gray purple black. It's so pretty. It's got a little bit of a brown undertone too. Then I knew I needed a couple skeins of a black because I always need black from Color and Cotton when I'm doing a Color and Cotton conversion. So I got 2 skeins of rustic black. This color is beautiful. This is Teapot. I should have bought more than one, but I only bought one. It's like a gray teal. And then I bought a skein of Topsoil because I figured you could use another brown. And that was my Color and Cotton haul. I could have bought so much more, but I was flustered from how pretty it was in there. And so if you are in St. Louis, go make the trip. It's definitely worth it. I had a great time. They were so nice, and I wish I lived closer because I would only ever buy Color and Cotton floss. If I could touch it and do conversions in the store, totally would only ever buy from them. I also grabbed a couple skeins of black licorice for other projects. I had a specific reason for this. Forgot it. Anyway, so that is my haul. I also did get in a couple more bags of my Adam Hart thread bobbins. I finally have enough to convert my whole master set. So I'm working on a stash organization series where I talk about how I organize my DMC, and then I'll do one about how I organize my patterns, all of those kinds of things. So keep your eye out for that if you're interested. I know I've talked about that before. Now, okay, a little bit of housekeeping. I normally talk about books at the end of my Flosstube videos, but I know that not everyone watches the book talk, and also a lot of people are turned off by longer Flosstubes. Not me, I love a long Flosstube. But I know that having like a 15 to 20 minute book talk at the end of every video makes my videos look a lot more intimidating than they are. So this month we are going to try, I'm going to record book talk, T-A-L-K, separately from this video and publish it as a separate video. So if you're interested in books, I will still have that content on this channel, but I'm thinking it might reach more of the people it wants to reach if it's separated out of my video. And that way Flosstube is mostly just cross stitch. I said there was quilting at the beginning of this video. I don't have anything to actually concretely show, but I did finish cutting out the pieces for my Taylor Swift Surprise Songs blanket. This is the mock-up of what it's going to look like with a few modifications because I can't change the grid fully in my software. But I did finish cutting out all of the colored pieces, so I just need to cut out my background and actually start sewing. So I have a couple days off of work coming up this week, and I'll probably work on that quilt a little bit more. Let's see, what else are my plans? I am thinking that this weekend I might do a 24 hours of cross stitch marathon, and then I'll vlog through that experience. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. It's a good bit of work on my end, so if you don't want that, I won't do it. But I thought it would be fun to just like see if over the 3 days that I'm off work, if I could stitch for 24 hours. I'm not going to do 24 hours in one go because I'm not putting my body through an all-nighter. No. But if I just stitch for like 6 hours a day and that would be 4 days. Anyway, I'll figure it out, but I thought it would be fun to do like a little bit of a cross stitch marathon while I'm off. I might also just do a crafting marathon and work on quilts and cross stitch, and then put up a vlog of that experience. So that'll be another video that might be coming out soon. I'm going to record my stash organization video this weekend as well. So I have a lot of crafting plans for my few days off of work, and yeah. So I hope that you guys liked today's video and that you will keep your eye out for the book talk. If it doesn't work, I will stick that section back into my regular floss tubes, but I just think that I think it deserves its own separate video because I read enough to do that. So we might do like a couple extra book themed videos on the channel every once in a while, doing like, you know, talking about my TBRs for the month, or I don't know, we'll see. We're just gonna try it. So I hope that you guys have an amazing few weeks. I'll be back in about 3 weeks with more cross stitch chit chat. But in the meantime, you'll see me again. I'll be around. And I'm going to immediately record book talk after this. So keep your eye out for that separate book chat video. And yes, so let me know, are you working on anything for the back to school sale? What's your favorite plan for Sampler September? If you're going to join me on any of my Sampler September plans, any of those kinds of things, I would love to hear from you guys about your time, or if you've been to Color and Cotton Store as well. Anything, you know, you guys just tell me hi. And in true Brijin's video fashion, if you've made it to the end of today's video, let's see, go ahead and leave me a ball of yarn emoji, because I love to see how many of you guys actually make it to the end of my rambling chit chats. So that's it for cross stitch today. I hope you guys have a great weekend and a great start to Sampler September, and I will see you guys shortly. Bye.